Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Shuden Damila from the Swot Group, and this morning what we'll actually be doing is solving partial fractions, objective questions of partial fraction using calculator. Which calculator actually are we going to be using? We'll be using Casio 991 ES Plus. And before we continue, I want you to go down to this channel, like this channel, subscribe to this channel, and like and make sure comment and share out. So, well, before we go further, I want you to learn the basics of these partial fractions, most especially with this calculator, before we continue. And to continue now, I want the basics you'll be looking at is the basics of function, where you have f, x, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So what we'll be using in our function to solve this partial fraction is 2. We'll be making use of 2. I hope you are with me. We'll be making use of 2. So why are we making use of 2? You need to know the reason why we're making use of 2 first. So when we know the reason why we're making use of 2, then you now know why. You now know why we're not making use of 0, 1, and 3. So to make use of the function of 2 in any partial fraction, because for example, you're having a partial fraction you're having a question that goes like this: x over 1 plus x squared 1 plus x. So for this kind of equation, we're making use of 2, and wherever you have your function of x, your 2 will be substituted. So but now, why we are making use of 2 is because 0 is a number that once you put it into your equation, most of your multiplication questions will be termed or will result to 0. But once you have 1, you still have the same question repeated as your answer. So 1 is not really tested to be okay. 2 has been tested to be okay based on some research questions and some review questions that I've gone through and I've tested. But 3 will also work out, but your values will be large. You'll be having larger values. For example, if you're having 2 to give you 6, 3 will be giving you multiples of 3. So your values will be large and it won't help you save enough time. So make use of 2. So that's the basics I want you to learn about this first, so that you won't just waste your time with larger values. So now let's now go straight to an OBJ question that works with partial fraction. Now I'm having a question that goes like this. The first example now for this question, this is the question, and like I said, we're making use of the function of 2. Now I'm trying to explain this basic so that you understand before we now swipe into using our calculator. And you're having your options to be I was saying this is your question, this is your options. So what you need to do is just to, this is your question and you just need to pick your option and go. But what we want to do now is that wherever you have this function of 2, like I told you the other time, why we are using 2 and the reason why we are using 2, you are going to substitute it in this equation, which is your question, and you have to have what you are the calculator has to be the same answer you have here on your question. Like for example, now you're having 1 over 2 here. One of this option here, A, B, C, and D, has to give you 1 over 2. Which one now will give us 1 over 2? That's the basic behind this calculation, this calculator method. Now I'm not saying this question is going to give you 1 over 2, but I'm trying to tell you that your question part, which is your question part, must be equal to your answer part in any of these options. So whichever one of this option is giving you the same answer as your question, so you just have to click that and go to your next question. In our next class, we'll also be looking at the main use of the calculator to solve this expositorily, and the 991 ES plus calculator with detailed steppings on how you solve it from the beginning to the question, from the question to the options of each option. So don't forget, click on the like button, subscribe, click on the notification bar, and next time you'll get to know